Welcome everyone. The topic for the day is role profiling and goal setting. Basically, what is role clarity? It's a condition where members have perfect understanding of what exactly is expected of them. This is what role clarity is all about. It. So, a incumbent knows what is being expected out of him or her, and he or she prefers to adhere to the adhere in principles to the expected roles altogether. It's a character or a part played by a performer. Definitely, yes, the characters is expected out of the social behavior, definitely from the individuals, and it's a function or a position. That is what role clarity is all about. It we need to understand this every now and then. So that is what is role clarity is all about. It let next particular sentiment as what is role ambiguity. Now remember, where people are not sure about what is expected, people knows that there are certain jobs that to be done, but who is supposed to do it, nobody knows around it. So everybody hesitates to take up the task in the first place, or should I say, rephrase it in a different position, in a different fashion, where everybody thinks the other person would going to chip in and probably complete the task. Now, this is where they are confused. They are not sure of what others are doing. They are not sure what they are expected to do. There is a complete chaos among it, as in they do not read the situation completely in an honest fashion. This is what the role ambiguity is all about. It now, what happens in this scenario? In such a scenario, the role may get the tasks might get completed, but only few people or few members will actually participate out of it. Rest of the members or rest of the employees will not. They will simply lay back, as in not to understand what exactly happened. So in either way, there would be a deferment as for as for the completion of the task is concerned, or should I say, there's a delay in the completion of the task. Why so? Because only half, or should I say less than half of the employee participated in the completion of the task. So this is where the productivity suffers. If there's a role, there's a lack of role clarity, or should I say there is there is role ambiguity exists, organization as a whole. So four components of role clarity, wherein what is the understanding of the bosses, that is what the role description is all about. It is the incumbent's own sense of responsibilities as to understanding of a particular job to be done, others understanding as an expectation of the roles, and the reality how the role has to be enacted. These are essential components that needs to be taken in mind, kept in mind during the process every now and then. So roles are not clearly defined. In cases of role ambiguity, what does it leads to? It leads to conflict, it leads to confusion, it leads to chaos on the shop floor. Team members do not exactly understand and probably react as what is expected out of them. Some team members may land up shouldering a bigger share of the work, which I have already said. There would be a part of the team member, let's say this would be the part which might be actually working all together, but the rest of the half will not be working. So some of them are earning their salaries for not doing the work. Some of them are earning salaries by doing double the amount of the work they're doing around it. That's the biggest share that I want to stress about it. This is one of the fallacies of the rules not being very clear, or the existence of role ambiguity as the case. Conversely, some may take it too small a share as a result of poor understanding. This is what has been happening around here, or therefore feel unutilized or demotivated. Again, it become bit demoralizing effect altogether. Since their role has not been clearly stated, and the vociferous one, the adventurous one, or the extrovert personality would end up doing much of the task, and probably even garnering the much of the credit that was not due to that particular person in the first place. This lack of awareness can also mean that all goals are reached, as there are parts of the team responsibility that aren't getting it done. So obviously, yes, not all goals will be reached altogether, or even if they are reached, they will be reaching very late, quite delayed. So what does the finding does it? Remember, Stephen Bray with the University of Lethbridge in the Lawrence Bray University, Waterloo, conducted a study on the role clarity as a moderator of the role efficacy and the role performance relationship. What did he found out? Stephen Bray found out that individual with a higher role clarity were supposedly giving a higher role effectiveness and perform much better with than those with a lower role clarity. So that means communication was the crux. You need to understand the role clarity plays a visible role, visible impact in on the overall impact productivity of the organization. So the responsibility to ensure such an understanding of roles and create an effective team structure rests squarely with the team leaders. This is the person who is supposed to be looking about everything. This is the team leader that we are supposed to talk around it. When team performance is below par due to the poor understanding of role, it point backs to ineffective leadership, and that is what we are talking about. It tells our negative notions with the leadership or the managers who is leading altogether. So let us understand the four parameters of leadership that has been coming across. This is what we are looking. Focus on what? On generating income or building budget. Focus on how is all about on current resources or future resources, as in the case might be. Focus on the future in terms of long term and the short term objectives, the goals thereby, and we should be people centric in terms of our own people, our own customers. The leadership should know on to what, how, on future the time dimensions and the human dimension that comes across it. If you can have a right balance, yes, that's the leaders that we are looking into it. So activities to help role clarity, what are they? Take a sheet of flip chart and draw circles, and this circle, this should represent your role as a manager, and give smaller circle to represent the significant others, along with the job set that they are supposed to go and complete. Show them the importance that any breakdowns in the linkage, any breakdowns in a particular link will actually delay the overall performances of the team. Discuss this map with a colleague. Check if you have already included every responsibilities of prominence that is there. So when you are satisfied, you have included all the vital relationship, make a chart. This is where you decide upon the role, the expectation of the me and my expectation and the demand thereof. This is the possible outcome of cooperation and conflict that comes around it. For each member of your role set, complete the chart as far as you are able to do at this particular stage, as the case might be. So here we are. This is what we are looking at it. This is the factuals about the role, about the establishment of transparency as for the roles and responsibilities. So discuss this chart with your colleagues. How will you obtain the information? How will you clarify others' expectation? How will you check? How will you measure? How will you determine accurately and being realistic at the same time? So you need to understand the possible areas of cooperation that is there, the possible areas of conflict which might be detrimental, which can be reduced, can be coped up, reduce or remove the areas of conflict altogether. Now, ways of using this chart. The first thing that can be used is depending upon the situation and the level of trust that exists. They can be completed by each individual members of the team. Then properly be shared with the members, as in what I'm trying to tell it to you is there will be a proper discussion at the end of the chart. This roles and responsibilities, role clarity. If there any confusion regarding any overlaps or any conflicting situation, or perhaps any of the linkages where there is a delay, where there is a disruption, you need to understand what if analysis has to be there. What if, so clearly state, clearly demarcate the roles of communication in that scenario. Remember, a perfect effective productions would be mean a high level of trust, high level of cooperation. Alternatively, they can be discussed individually with a colleague, consultant, mentor who is not even a part of that particular altogether. Ultimate goal is to have an objective and achieve it at the same time, whether we like it or not. Goal setting is an integral and important aspect of everyone's life. Everyone who wants to be tasting success in their life. For some, it is a conscious process. From some, it is just an unconscious one. Some people even will be surprised to learn that they are actually setting goals on a day-to-day basis. So, if you reflect back on your day, I suppose very true with any one of us, you realize that you are actually setting goals, achieving an immeasurable amount of goals as you progress throughout the day. And believe me or not, at the end of the week, we have accumulated and done a lot of work. At the end of the month, we have done achieve commendable amount of work. At the end of the year, we are looking for a promotion, and promotion is there to be there on your shoulders. This is what the significance of role clarity is all about. The role clarity will actually give you a direction, a sense to exceed your expectations again. So what are there? We have these three situations that comes around is as far as the role clarity is concerned. Look, this is the path that we coming around it. The path originate out here and comes in this direction. The H1 being the purchase situation, let's say the impersonal information sources, which leads to a role clarity, or should I say personal information sources. This was impersonal in the sense, and this was personal altogether, your own very experiences, information source, before which you come to an conclusion of what exactly needs to be purchased, what are the brand, what are the features that product altogether. Let us understand this setting which needs to be encouraged by each and every team members, as in with the personal growth, as in with your responsibility, the achievement orientation, the better decision making. Role clarity will give it to you. Will give your directions to your life. It will give a direct meaning to your existence, and obviously signify the contribution that you make towards the organization. So prioritize your activities, control the changes in your life, development of the skills and the talent, sense of purpose and direction, which I've already said it to you. This is what goal setting encourages. It's an absolute must for any individual who is self-conscious, who wants to achieve success in. Eventually, goal setting decreases. Why? Because of laziness and procrastination. People defer. They set up lofty goals and then they say, "Ki, if there is a time permits, why not laze around?" This procrastination is much more detrimental. It is much more dangerous than anything about, and the major factor of this is laziness. The process of goal setting absolutely decreases about these two conditions of laziness and procrastination. The two behavior, remember, goes hand in hand. Sabotaging any promises of creative ideas, wishes, or dream. You need to get goal setting will provide you a renewed energy, a sense of direction that is motivating and having a quick impact on your life. This is what we are looking into it. People, please desist being lazy. Please desist being procrastinating effect. So essential rules. Now, what are the golden rules of goal setting? Number one, be positive. Positively write it down. Have a personal benefit out of it. Deserve it. You will always clarify at the setting of the goals as to why a particular goal will enthuse you, will encourage you, prevent from current life benefits. It should be desirable. It should be challenging. It should be everybody's interest. That is what we are looking into it. Again, should I say, you should always write it down. Have a wonderful benefit that can accrue by achieving the goals, preserving the current life benefits that we are looking at. It should be desirable at the end of the day. It should be challenging enough to motivate you and in the interest of of us. So I have been telling you about the SMART goals for, right. I will extend that SMART goals as in specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, and time bounded by another two words called for me, SMART for me, wherein the SMART really stands for specific, measurable, attainable, time focused. Now, for me is focused, optimistic, ready, meaningful, and exciting. If you have these goals, you will actually win in your life. Again, I repeat, the goal should be quantified in terms of it being measurable. It should be at the same time be not unachievable at all. It should be attainable. Probably you have got to make it an effort. Or is to be realistic that comes around it. Then there is something called time focused, being optimistic, being ready for it, and meaningful and exciting. In case it doesn't adds value to it, you will have to go across it. Make setting for smart goals. That is what we are talking around. So the goal should be smart for me, specific, measurable, attainable, realistic, timed, focused, optimistic, ready, meaningful. Remember, at the end of the day, it is this what we go about it. My behavior is a function of a person and into the environment that I coexist. What is my personal attributes? It's my attributes as a person would be of a skills, about knowledge, about experiences, what I can do in terms of a cognitive ability, about my strength and flexibility. What is that person that I'm interested in, as in familiarity and interest? Yes, Remember, behavior is a function of person is a function of skills, knowledge, experience, cognitive strength, familiarity and interest into environment. And what is environment? Then the question comes around it. Environment is all about task, it is all about PMS or performance management system, it is all about the organizational structure, the power, politics, culture and the leadership style that comes across it. This is what we are looking out here. This is the end example, and there comes the performances outcomes which have the satisfaction motivation level that comes around it. So my behavior is the function of me as a person, as in terms of my attitude, my skills, my ability to comprehend things, my interest and so on, into the function, into in the environment that I operate in terms of my management skills and things. This will relate me to be motivated and garner satisfaction as an employee. That will be my performance behaviors as such. With this, end of this presentation. Thank you for watching this video.